toss me dead into the ocean for the sake of the gold, so that he could keep Priam's wealth for himself. My lifeless body washes ashore and washes back to sea with the waves' endless ebb and flow, and remains on board, unburied. Disembodied, I watch Hecuba, my dear mother, as I have for the 3 days since she and the other women were brought here, captives on their way to Greece. But however eager for home, the Greeks must wait here on the coast of Thrace, sail slack because Achilles appearing above his tomb, he demands my sister Polyxena as a sacrifice to appease his wounded honor. He'll get it too. His men won't dare refuse him. So fate leads my sister to her death today, and my mother will see 2 corpses of 2 children. My body will wash up in the surf so she can bury me properly. I begged this crumb of Hades, and it was granted. But for now, I'll leave this place. Soon Hecuba will stumble from the doorway of Agamemnon's tent, upset by nightmares and visions of my ghost. Dear mother, your royal palaces have been reduced to meager corners in another ruler's tent. How poorly you fare, as poorly as you once fared well. To balance out your past prosperity, dear mother, some god has ruined you.
From the huts. My dear friends, sister slaves, help me walk. Hold me up. Let me lean on your arms like a staff. Bear me up. My young legs are too weak to support me. Oh, lightning of Zeus, tell me why I am snatched from my sleep by these specters of dread. Goddess Earth, from whose womb these nightmares emerge like the stirring of bats, I recoil from these nightmares. Oh, you underworld gods, please protect Polydorus, my anchor and last of my house, who abides in this Thracian domain in the home of a friend. Oh, the horrors I dreamed! Oh, I still shudder with fear. Find Cassandra and ask her to read these phantasms and explain the young doe that was torn from my lap and destroyed by a wolf with bloody jaws.
I am here! I arrived, Hecuba, just as fast as I could from the tent of my master, where my lot is now cast, where command made me slave. I was caught like an animal marched on Troy at the point of a spear. I bring news. It's not good. I regret I must say I've been told the Greek army have convened. They have voted. It's decided. Your daughter, Polyxena, she is the one. She will be sacrificed to Hades.
His ghost reappeared at his tomb, as you know, in a blaze of gold armor and praise. The Greek sails were unfurled, all aboard for the launch, when the warrior's ghost intervened.
Do you think you can leave
The rage howled.
without honoring me? Then rough waves of dispute overran the composure of captain and crew, and the Greeks were now split. Agamemnon, proprietor of Cassandra. The sons of Theseus rebutted, exclaiming the tomb of Achilles deserved the girl's blood, and that Cassandra's lush bed must kneel down and defer to the warrior's brave spear. There things stood
At a standstill.
an intractable throne. Then that wily Odysseus spoke. He festooned and perfumed his appeal, the air thick with his words, till his audience swooned at his feet as he crooned.
Who could suffer the dead telling tales down in Hades about the Greeks who deserted the soldiers who fought for Hellas in the fields of war?
Every soldier agreed that to slight brave Achilles was sacrilege. Sacrifice carried the day, and Odysseus is coming. At any moment he will tear the sweet foal from your breast.
You must go!
He will wrench your Polyxena out of your hand. To the ship, to the altar, at the knees of Agamemnon. Pray, ask the gods of heaven and Hades. If your prayers convey, then your daughter is safe.
If they fail, you must see your own child put to death.
Her throat cut.
And the flow of her blood from her gold-bearing neck.
Oh, dazed! What to say? What howl? What lament? Forlorn, and now old, enslaved. It's too hard, too much to be borne. No one to protect me, no state, no house. Alas, all is gone. What way should I go? What road should I take? What God can I trust? What guide can prevail? Oh, bearers of grief, I no longer care for life in the light. My child! Oh, Polyxena, come out and attend your mother. Come out, hear me. Come out, hear me. Come out, hear me. Come out, hear me.
The distress in your voice, your sharp cries of dismay, dearest mother, have flushed me from the tent like a bird. What on earth is your news?
Oh, my child, my own lamb.
Why this chill in your tone?
I am afraid.
No, don't stop now. No, now I am afraid. I hear such fear in your voice.
My child, child of a wretched mother.
Why do you say this?
Because they have voted, the Greeks, to kill you on the tomb of Achilles.
You utter unspeakable woes.
I must speak the unspeakable, child, though it tears me to pieces. You must know.
Sad mother of mine, what more can you take? Such outrage and woe abound. It's too much. Defenseless myself, I can't defend you. Can't lighten your grief. Alas, I must die. Be slain like a lamb. And you'll have to watch in pain. I'll be snatched away and impaled. My torment will end. I'll lie with the dead. Oh, mother, for you I weep and lament.
And here comes Odysseus now! Hecuba, hurry to tell you the news!
Hecuba, I think you know the army's will and verdict. I'll state it anyway. The Greeks have voted to offer up your daughter on Achilles' tomb. They've authorized me to be her guard and escort. Neoptolemus will preside over the rites of sacrifice. Now be sensible about this. Don't make us drag you off by force or come to blows. The state of affairs is difficult, I know, but accept your lot. Hard luck is best met with level-headedness and expediency.
Oh, dear gods, here it comes. A pitched battle thick with groans and a torrent of tears. I didn't die when and where I should have. But in my suffering, mighty Zeus spares me yet, miserable as I am, to live and suffer more. If a slave may ask a free man some harmless questions, nothing out of hand, I assure you, nothing with teeth, then you, Odysseus, should be free to answer, and I to hear what you have to say. Within these parameters, may I speak?
Permission granted. Ask away.
Remember how you snuck into Troy, a spy cloaked in beggar's rags, with blood from self-inflicted wounds blurring your eyes, masking your face, appearing as a wretched Trojan.
Of course I do. The memory cuts deep.
How, when Helen spotted you, she told me alone.
I thought I was sunk, a goner.
Remember the beggar you were then? How you grabbed my knees?
My hands grew numb holding your robes in that death grip.
And I spared you, freed you.
I see the sun today because of you.
When you were my slave, remember how you said...
Hecuba! I said whatever it took to stay alive.
Aren't you shameless in this conduct of yours? You yourself just admitted the mercy you got from me, and now you do me such evil in return. Oh gods, save us from politicians and demagogues like you, who care not what harm they do, so long as the multitudes are pleased and the applause is loud. But tell me, what counseled expediency led them to cast their ballots in favor of killing my child? What in your so-called necessity requires this brutal murder at a tomb where by custom oxen ought to die? Does the ghost's thirst for revenge justify his demand for human slaughter? Polyxena has done no harm to Achilles. Rather, he should have asked for Helen's sacrifice, since she destroyed him by steering him to Troy. She wronged Achilles far more than we! Thus, my case for justice against the ghosts. Now hear my claim on your gratitude. As you yourself have readily confirmed, when our positions were reversed in Troy, you fell at my feet, begging for your life. You clasped my hand and touched my aging cheek here. But now it is my turn to fall, to ask that you return the favor and spare my child. Please, I beg you, don't take my daughter from me. Let her live. Haven't enough died already? All I've lost lives on her. She is my solace. She is my staff, my nurse, my guide. She is my Troy. Those with power should use that power carefully. Those in luck should not assume that luck will hold, as I well know. Once I was powerful and lucky. A queen, but no more. One day obliterated all. Odysseus, I implore you, have pity on me. Reconvene the army, persuade them it's wrong to kill the very women you spared because you pitied them in Troy. Remind your men that Greek laws pertaining to murder protect enslaved and free alike without distinction. You have the power, the authority, and the lucky eloquence.
Who could be so callous as to remain unmoved, hearing such pitiful cries of unbounded sorrow?
A prefatory caveat, Hecuba. Just because I make political speeches doesn't mean that I must therefore be your enemy. So do not in anger misconstrue me so. First off, I acknowledge unconditionally your claim on my gratitude. You saved my life, and by the gods, I owe you. I am prepared to honor my debt by saving your life.
Saving your life!
But my public vow to the Greek troops I must also stand by, and that is to reward our best warrior with Polyxena, your daughter. It's an invalid premise, you see, to think that these two lives, yours and hers, can be interchanged. Furthermore, our cities will fail if noble and devoted soldiers earn no greater returns than do lesser men. Achilles deserves honor and tribute more than anyone. He died for Greece, and by the gods we owe him. By the gods we owe him! What conduct is more shameless than enlisting a man's good and faithful service while he lives, only to throw him to the dogs when he's dead? Well then, and if we had to go to war again, would we have troops ready and willing to deploy? Or would men think, why bother? Better to lie low and save my own skin? Imagine what adverse effects dishonoring the dead would have on recruiting efforts, on public perception, on morale. On morale. For me, a few essential crumbs will suffice while I'm alive. But I want the full-out display of honors and commemorations when I die. A worthy tomb to make this life worthwhile, that's the thing that lasts. Third, you complain how you've suffered. Well, we Greeks have suffered too. We Greeks have suffered too! Our old women and our old men are no less wretched than yours. Our young brides are likewise widows of fine grooms who now sleep in Trojan dust instead their marriage beds. Just as we've endured these hardships, so can you. So can you! If you think I'm wrong to honor the legacy of a great warrior like Achilles, then go ahead and call me callous. The barbaric way you foreigners use your friends and disrespect the dead, I say keep it up. That way Greece stays on top, and you people get the fate you deserve. The fate you deserve!
Witness here how the violence of war enslaves, forcing its captives to endure the unendurable.
Oh, daughter, all my arguments against your murder were useless. Feeble puffs of air accomplishing nothing. If you have more skill than your mother, use it now. Like the nightingale, sing out all your notes, or you will lose your life. Fall prostrate at this man's knee and persuade him. He has children too, I know. You may yet move him to pity.
I see you, Odysseus. How you've hidden your right hand in your cloak and turned your face away so that I can't touch your hand in supplication. But you have nothing to worry about. I'll follow you to Achilles' tomb. No! Out of necessity, and because I wish to. I want to die. I won't grovel for my life like some lowly coward of a woman. Why should I live? My father was king of Troy, ruler of all Ilium. I was born royalty, and I was reared to expect I'd marry my choice of kings. Now that I am a slave, I am infatuated with death. Imagine, some cruel-minded master could buy me for money. Me, sister of Hector, daughter of Priam, and take me to his house, force me to cook for him, to sweep and tend the shuttle, to work day after day, while my bed, once thought fit for rulers, is polluted by some bought slave. No, it will not happen. That life is inconceivable. While the light in my eyes is still free, I yield it up, giving my body to Hades. So lead me, Odysseus. Take me to my death. I see no reason to hope for or believe in anything better.
No.
Mother, don't interfere. Help me instead. I would rather die than suffer the shame of wearing slavery's yoke around my neck.
Nobility is even more noble when put to the test.
You've spoken well, daughter, but there is pain in that good speaking. Odysseus, I understand that Peleus' son must be granted his sacrifice, and that your reputation must be preserved. Well, here's how to accomplish both without killing this girl. Lead me to the pyre, and appease the ghost by killing me. Indeed, I, who gave birth to Paris, who with his bow slew the great Achilles, must not be spared.
Achilles didn't ask for your death, old woman, but for hers.
Then slaughter me with my daughter. That gives the earth and Achilles' corpse twice as much blood to drink.
That's unnecessary. Your daughter's death is enough. Believe me when I say I wish this one death didn't have to be.
Then I must die with her.
Excuse me! I was not aware that I was taking orders.
I will cling to her like ivy.
Best to obey those wiser than you.
She's my daughter. I won't let go.
And I won't go away, so take your leave of her.
No, don't touch her.
Mother, do as I say! Odysseus, wait. Have some patience with a parent's understandable fury. Mother, listen to me. Do not try to fight those who have you in their power. Do you want to be shoved around? To have your fragile aged skin scraped and torn when you fall to the ground? To risk losing your dignity being dragged off by some young soldier? No, Mother. It would be unseemly. Instead, dear unhappy one, give me your blessing and let me go. Now, for the last time, I see the brilliant circle of the sun. And now I say my final words to you, O one who carried me in her womb and bore me. And now I go.
Dear child, how I, still leashed to daylight, will mourn for you.
Unmarried, not royally wed as I should have been.
You, a pitiful child, and me, a wretched woman.
In Hades' darkness, I will lie alone.
Oh gods, what shall I do? Where turn to end my life?
I, born in freedom, to die a slave.
And I, bereft of 50 children.
Mother, what do you want me to tell Hector, my brother, and Priam, my father, your husband?
Tell them how destroyed I am.
Farewell, Mother, and say farewell to Cassandra for me. Now lead me, Odysseus, with a veil shrouding my head. My mother's grief has melted my heart, and I have melted hers. Oh, sunlight, I will savor you in the short time left between this moment and the sword at Achilles' tomb.
My legs dissolve! Polyxena, stay with me! Reach out your hand, grab hold of mine! Don't go, daughter! Don't leave me childless! Oh, let me die, my friends!
Or in Athens, many-threaded ponies and yoke them to the chariots on fair Athena's robe, or perhaps embroidered Titans, which Zeus, son of Cronos, with fists of double-edged lightning laid quite low. Alas for my children, alas for the fathers, alas for my children, alas for the fathers, alas for my children, alas for the fathers,
And for our native land, now leveled, slashed by Argives, spears to ash heaps and shreds of smoke.
well, I'm taken from Asia to Europe, a slave. This will be my home now, the bed chambers of Hades.
Women of Troy, I thank you to tell me where I may find Hecuba, she who was once queen of Ilium Troy.
She's over there, Talthybius, wrapped in her robes with her head buried.
Oh, Zeus, how can I say you care for humans now, or that you oversee the fortune of all mortal affairs? Was not this woman once the queen of gold-rich Troy and wife of Priam? Now that lively city is a spear-gutted carcass, and Hecuba herself is a ragged slave, bereft and sunk to the ground. What pity. I'm an old man, but I'd rather die than live this shame. Stand up, Hecuba. Pick yourself up from the dirt. Push that gray hair out of your eyes. I know you hear me.
Go away and leave me alone. Why are you here? Who are you, anyway? Just let me lie here. Don't disturb my dusty grief.
I'm Talthybius, Greek herald delivering a message to you as I was ordered.
Are you kind, then? A friend? Come to tell me the Greeks want my death, too? If so, you bring good news. Extend your hand and help me up. Let's hurry along. Lead me, old man.
Ordered to say, you may now bury your dead child, ma'am. That's the reason I've come to you, the news I was sent to tell you.
What? No merciful death? Just more woe? And so you're dead, my child. Commandeered from life. From me. Your mother's now more childless than she was this morning, having lost you. Who could carry all this grief? How was my daughter handled, sir? Did your people execute her with respect? Or did you kill her like a slave and an enemy? Tell me the truth, old man, however shocking or painful.
You're doubling the steep cost of sorrow, Hecuba, by asking me to retell these troubles. My eyes are wet a second time. I paid in tears once already at the grave when she died. But you will hear. In full force, the Greeks gathered at the tomb for your girl's death. Achilles' son led your daughter by the hand to the top of the mound. I was standing nearby. A designated corps of young guards followed on hand to restrain any bucking or bolting of your calf. Neoptolemus took a gold cup, filled it with wine, and lifted it in honor of his dead father. He nodded to me, and on that cue I raised my voice over the chatter gusting around me and said, "Silence in the ranks! All soldiers hereby stand at attention until further orders!" Thus I recalled the entire army. They stood hushed and breathless as Neoptolemus prayed, "Oh, Achilles, greatest of warriors, accept this cup that the army and I offer you as a gift. Let this libation entice your ghost to appear and drink the maiden's blood, dark and pure. In return, grant us winds strong and favorable, free the prows and bridling ropes of our ships, and fill our sails for safe passage home. Then Seizing his double gilt sword by the hilt, he drew it from its sheath and motioned to the guards to seize Polyxena. Your daughter, when she saw this, gave this proud speech. O Greeks who sacked my city, know that I die willingly, so keep your hands off me. I will bear the nape of my own neck to the sword. For the gods' sakes, let me be free of fetters when you kill me, so that I may die free, and among the dead I won't have to be ashamed, being a queen, to be called a slave. The troops roared their approval, and when Agamemnon ordered the guards to release the maiden, they did so immediately. And immediately Polyxena grabbed the fabric at her neckline with both hands and ripped her dress open, exposing her breasts, her torso smooth and perfect as a statue's. Naked to the waist, she dropped on one knee before her executioner and said, "Behold, young man, if it's my breast you want to strike, strike here. If here beneath the neck my throat is ready." Neoptolemus both unwillingly and willingly cut her throat. His steel sword sliced deep and her blood gushed out. Even as she died, your courageous young daughter took care to fall decently, modestly covering what must be hid from men's eyes. When she was fully dead, the soldiers busied themselves with the tasks of death. Some scattered leaves over the body, while others piled the pyre with pine logs. Those working reprimanded anyone idle. Do you stand there? Her, doing nothing, holding neither gown nor ornament? Won't you go find something to give the bravest and most noble of maidens? That's how the soldiers spoke of your dead daughter, Hecuba. Now you've heard the whole story. Having witnessed it myself, I see you are the luckiest and most unlucky of mothers.
This sorrow boils up and overruns the house of Priam and Troy, my city.
The gods have willed it so.
Polyxena, dear, I don't know which ordeal to manage first with so many rolling in. There is a vast sea of pain out there. If I brace against one, another upends me, and then another again, wave upon wave of pain. Now I can't sponge away all you suffered in dying, or keep myself from groaning. But I'm glad to know you died well, to have at least that bleak comfort. A moment, Talthybius. Tell Agamemnon something for me. Tell him no one touches my daughter! Ask him to keep everyone away until I get there. Serafina, take a pitcher to the beach. Fill it with seawater. Carry it back to me without spilling any. I need it all to give my daughter her last washing. A bride unwedded. A virgin bedded by death. I must bathe and lay her out as she deserves. But how? With what treasures? I have nothing left! So now what? Thank Hecuba. Oh, my women! Captives like me, but perhaps they smuggled out some pretty trinkets. I'll go see. Oh, how much greatness gone! My home, my Priam, our palace and fortune, our children, gone now, stripped to the bone. How pointless, all that boasting of wealth and fame. The richest are those who live uneventfully, day after day, after death.
I was tied to this fate, this sorrow.
When Paris took the first line on Mount Ida to carve a mast,
Who sailed the ocean surf
to anchor in the bed of Helen,
that sun-kissed golden girl,
Suffering, encircled by worse necessities, all entangled.
one man's folly launched a host of woes on Ilium.
when the Ionian herdsmen judged three bickering goddesses.
Legislating strife through spear and slaughter. Shame of my bedchamber, a widowed bride is groaning in Sparta.
A mother, now childless,
Tears gray hair and claws her cheeks. Where is the queen who wears so many woes that no one will ever take that crown from her? What is it now? Does it never end?
I bring this pain for Hecuba. It's hard to speak and hard to keep silent.
Here comes Hecuba now, in time for your announcement. Oh, queen of woes, more wretched than you imagine. I bring you news. You're dead and gone from light to darkness. Childless, widowed, exiled, and destroyed.
But how is this called news? You tell me what I already know. But what's this? Why do you bring Polyxena's corpse here? I'd made burial arrangements with the Greeks.
She doesn't see. So caught up in mourning Polyxena, she doesn't recognize this new pain set before her.
Oh gods, don't tell me it's Cassandra you've brought.
It's not Cassandra. She's alive. Prepare yourself. I'll reveal the corpse so you can see the one you mourn.
My son! My youngest son dead! He was supposed to be safe with the Thracian king. Oh, Polydorus. I'm truly dead. This sight annihilates me.
Child, I start the song, that song of death, sung from the heart. Oh, child,
She now accepts what she sees.
that song of death, sung from the heart. We have to wait so afterglow.
It's terrible, wretched lady. The terrible ills we suffer.
Pitiful child. Full wretched mother. What fate? What happened? What brought him here?
I do not know, my queen. I found him on the beach.
Did he drown? Or was he killed there on the sand?
It seemed as if the waves had washed him up on shore.
Black-winged nightmares. They told the truth. My son dead in dreams. My son dead in life.
Who killed him then? Did your dreams show you that?
I tell you, friends, a friend and ally murdered him. The king of Thrace, to whom my careful husband sent our son, and his future wealth for safekeeping.
You're saying Polymestor killed your son for gold?
Unspeakable, unbelievable, unholy, unbearable,
A monstrous face, a murdered guest, his broken limbs, his mangled flesh, the traitor's sword! No pity! None.
I've never seen you in a state like this, Hecuba.
The gods have loaned him for payment
you buried your daughter. I got your message from Talthybius. You said none of us should touch her, and so, as you've directed, we've left her alone, not laying a hand on her. But you take your time in a way that makes no sense. I've come to hurry you along. We Greeks take pride in doing things well, as such things are well worth doing. What is this corpse I see? A Trojan? Those are no familiar Greek wrappings.
Oh, you unfortunate Hecuba! What should you do?
Do you beg at his knees or bite your tongue in silence?
Why do you turn your back to me, Hecuba? What has happened here? Tell me about this body.
If to him you are nothing but a contemptible enemy and slave, he will push you from his knees.
You couldn't bear that.
I can't read minds, you know. I can't help unless you speak.
But maybe you are seeing him as an enemy, when really he isn't.
Still nothing? Suit yourself then. If you don't want me to know, I don't want to hear.
Win or lose, he's my only hope of avenging my children. Agamemnon! Listen to my supplication. I beg you by your knee, your chin, and your blessed right hand.
What are you asking for, Hecuba? For your freedom?
Sir, not what you expect. Do you see this corpse I'm crying over?
Of course I see it. I've been trying to get you to tell me about it.
This is the body of my son. I carried him in my womb. I gave birth to him.
Which son, Hecuba?
Not one of those who died defending Troy.
You had another.
I did, in vain. You see him here.
But where was he when Troy fell?
To save his young life, his father sent him away.
Sent him where?
To this very country in which he now lies dead.
He sent his son to Polymestor?
Yes, and sent him with a sum of bitter gold.
But how did your son die? Who killed him?
Who else? Our dear, loving, loyal Thracian friend, Polymestor!
How shameful! Was it lust for gold?
Yes, he killed for it the minute he learned Troy had fallen.
But where was your son found? Who brought him here?
This dear servant. She found his body tumbling in the surf.
Was she looking for him?
No, she went to fetch seawater to wash Polyxena's body.
Polymestor must have killed him and then thrown him into the sea.
Hacked up, pounded by waves. Look at the lacerations on his skin.
You truly are a wretched woman.
I'm already dead, Agamemnon. I'm past suffering.
Dear gods, is there any woman more unfortunate?
None, except misfortune herself. But listen to my request, my supplication. See if you think my hardships are justified. If so, that's it. I won't bother you further. But if not, then please help me. Help me get revenge on that deceitful friend, that fiendish and malignant host. I can't count the number of times he sat at my table, an honored guest. In thanks, he kills my son. He's a calculated, cold-blooded murderer. I know I'm nothing but a powerless slave, but the gods have power, as does the underlying law that governs them. It is by virtue of this law, this basic moral code, that the gods and our faith in them exists, and we know right from wrong, good from evil. If you defy this law, allowing those who murder guests and violate the gods to go unpunished, you poison the root of our humanity. Justice withers and dies. Preserve us then, and pity me. Step back like an artist and see the whole picture of me. Behold a woman royal, once upon a time, but now your slave. Once rich in children, but now impoverished and childless. Deserted, exiled, a prisoner of war, the most wretched of humans. No, don't go, Agamemnon! Why do you turn away? Oh, gods, I've watched my husband and all my children die. I'm now a slave. On the horizon, smoke still spirals up from Troy's smoldering ashes, haunting me, My lord Agamemnon, hear me. My daughter shares your bed. She sleeps beside you, and you enjoy her favors. What are they worth to you, these nights of love? What thanks are due to Cassandra? To me, my lord. Think of this and hear me. Do you see this corpse? This dead boy who is Cassandra's brother? By doing good to him, you do the same for her, the one who shares your bed. But let me speak a little more. If I could, I'd grow tongues in my arms and hands and hair in the soles of my feet, 1,000 tongues all talking, all crying together in one voice, clinging to your knees, begging you, imploring you, oh Lord, oh greatest light of Hellas, lend your avenging hand to this old woman, even though she's nothing. Help her anyway. Do your duty. Mete out justice. Punish this heinous crime against gods and man.
Strange how our lives ebb and flow, defined by circumstance and necessity,
Making
friends our
worse
enemies,
and
taking foes our inadvertent friends.
I truly pity you and your son, Hecuba. And I am genuinely moved by your request. I tell you, nothing would please me more than seeing justice served. But I am in an awkward position with the army. Any part I might play in helping you exact your revenge would be seen as motivated by my love for Cassandra. The army sees Polymestor as an ally and your murdered son as an enemy. An enemy! You love your son, of course, but that means nothing to the Greek troops. But know that if I can, I'll help. But not if the army starts to grumble.
Then no one is free in this world. He's chained to money, or to luck, or to majority opinion, or to law. Any way you look at it, he's still a slave. And so, because your fears constrain you, hold you hostage to the mob, let a captive set you free. Be aware of my plans to get revenge, but don't be party to them. Don't act for me, just don't act quickly if the Greeks respond to Polymestor's distress. Just look the other way. That's all you have to do. I'll take care of the rest.
But how? With what? Do you think your shaking hands could lift a heavy sword? Or do you plan to use poison? And who will be your accomplice in all this?
Remember, there are women hidden in these tents.
The women we took captive. The Greek prisoners.
Yes, they will help me get revenge.
But how? You are women. How will women defeat men?
There is strength in numbers, especially when you add deceit.
But still, you can't expect women to have the strength.
Why not? Didn't women kill Egyptus' sons? Didn't women murder the men of Lemnos, every last one? We're wasting time talking. Briseis, give this woman leave to run an errand for me. Guarantee her safe passage through the Greek encampments. Bring this message to Polymestor. Hecuba, the former queen of Troy, invites your presence, and that of your sons, to speak of pressing matters that touch us all. One last thing, Agamemnon. Delay Polyxena's funeral. I want her and Polydorus to be cremated and buried together, joining in one flame my double woes.
If that is what you wish, Hecuba, so be it. If we had winds to sail, I couldn't grant this. But we're still becalmed, with nothing to do but wait till the god sends fair weather. Best of luck. I hope it all turns out. It is in the interests of both states and individuals that evil suffers evil, and good fares well.
My hometown Ilium! No longer can you be called unravished, unspoiled. Such a fog of Greeks envelops you with home swords. So many swords!
Your towers are crownless, shades bare, bruised with black ash and smoke. Wounded Ilium, torn from your shores.
No longer call you home. I can no longer call you home. My ruin struck after midnight. Our bellies were full of rich food. Mists of sleep soothed our eyes after Thanksgiving, sacrifice, and dance. In our bed, my husband slept soundly. The spear at last retired to its peg. Unaware of the ships at our shores, the Greeks disgorging on Ilium, Troy. I was braiding my hair, absorbed in my siege mirror, ready to sink into bed and join my love in woolen fleeces. But then, shouts! Battle orders! Troy impaled by war cries! Hoorah, Greeks! Will you storm these hills with fire, secure your targets, and get home? Wearing only a thin nightgown like a simple girl, I left my love to bleed in vain at Artemis's shrine. My husband dead.
I was bound in chains and yanked to sea. My city receives as the Greeks set sail, severing me forever from home.
I sank into fathomless grief. I sank into fathomless grief. Timid, lofty, but two-faced, and her vile cowhead Paris. Damn them both to hell! I am ruined, rent from my own native land by their foul marriage defiling dead. Oh, headway over the black way! Shackle that whore at sea! May she never see home!
My dearest Hecuba, wife of my late friend Priam, how I pity you and your ruined Troy, and now your precious Polyxena, dead? Oh, it's just too much. What can we count on in this life? Nothing, I say. Not reputation or good fortune. The gods make it all pitch and yaw, back and forth until we're seasick and confused enough to worship them. Oh, but what help is any of this with your loss? Are you troubled I haven't been to visit you before now? I came here as fast as I could, Hecuba. It just so happened that I was inland seeing about Thracian business when you arrived here. In fact, I had just set out to see you when your servant arrived and gave me your message.
I'm mortified for you to see me in this state, Polymestor. I've fallen so low since we last met. I'm too ashamed now to look you in the eyes, so don't think of it as hostility toward you, Polymestor. Besides, it's not customary for a woman to meet a man's gaze.
Indeed. No offense taken, my dear. Now, how can I be of service? What are the pressing matters your message spoke of?
I have some information to share with you and your sons. Did you bring them, as I asked?
They're being attended to by the gates of the camp.
Have your men bring your children around to this tent and then have them leave us. What I have to tell you is private.
Bring them to the tent and then leave. I'm safe here. Hecuba is my friend, and the Greek army thinks well of me. Go. But tell me, how may a fortunate man such as I help an unfortunate friend?
First things first. Tell me about the child Priam and I gave to you for safekeeping. How is he? Does he live?
Alive and well, I assure you. In his case anyway, you're in luck.
Oh, dearest friend, your words speak to your worth.
Is there anything else you wish to know?
Does he still remember me, his mother?
But does he? He even tried to come here secretly to see you.
The gold he brought with him from Troy. Is it safe?
Quite safe. Under lock and key in my palace.
Guard it well. I hope it isn't a burdensome temptation.
Not at all. I'm content to enjoy the wealth I already have.
Do you know why I sent for you and your sons?
I don't. I'm waiting for you to tell me.
There are. Oh, beloved friend, you are so dear to me.
Yes, go on. What is it we must know?
Ancient vaults with Priam's gold.
And you want me to convey this to your son?
That's it? You are an upright man.
And why do my sons need to be here?
If something were to happen to you, they would need to know of this.
I see what you mean. Smart thinking.
Do you know Athena's temple in Troy, where it once stood?
Is that where the gold is? How can it be found now?
Look for sheer outcroppings of black rock.
Is there anything else I need to know?
Yes, the treasure I smuggled out of Troy. Can you keep it for me?
You have it here? Oh, where is it? In your gown, or have you hidden it?
It's under a pile of plunder in these tents.
Here. But this is a Greek encampment.
Female captives are housed in separate quarters.
Is it safe to go inside? Are there any men around?
No men, only us women. But hurry, because the Greeks are restless to weigh anchor and sail for home. Once our business here is finished, you can take your sons back to the place you house my son.
Your children await you in the tent.
You haven't paid the price yet, but you will.
Like a man stumbling into foul-filled water.
Or swept from the shore and drowning in the undertow.
As the waves wash over your head, you'll see how life is just a loan that's come due.
Death is the payment the gods demand.
Where justice and the gods converge, there's a maelstrom.
Your greed for gold leads you down the road to hell. Hands that never held a sword will cut your life away.
Oh! They're blinding me!
Did you hear the Thracian?
Why is he screaming, my friends?
Oh, me! Oh, my children! You slaughtered them!
Something terrible has been done inside the tent.
Run, will you? But you won't escape! I'll tear this tent down with my bare hands!
See that? It looks like something heavy thrown against the tent wall. What is all the clatter and commotion? Should we do something? Should we stand by her?
Crisis calls! Women of Troy! Hecuba needs us!
That's right! Smash it all! Rage and roar! Break down the door! Nothing will bring your sight back or let you see your sons alive again! I killed them! Have you really done the things you say, Hecuba? Have you taken down the Thracian? Just wait. In a minute, you'll see him come stumbling out, blind and flailing. In this tent, his sons, whom I killed with the help of these excellent Trojan women. He's paid his debts. I've had my revenge. And here he comes, just as I said. I'll get out of the way of his Thracian fury.
Where can I go? Where can I stand? Where? Here? This way? That way? To corner the murderous Trojan hags? Where are you, hag? Where did the witches go? God of sun, kill my bloody eyes, give me light! I hear their footsteps. I smell them. But where? Oh, God's police! To gorge on their flesh and bones, rabid for blood! Vengeance is mine! Where now? How can I leave my darling sons behind? Torn apart by those bacantes of hell! Slaughtered! A gory meal for wild dogs thrown out on a mountain! Where stand? Where turn? Where go? Run for my lair! Sail like a ship, my cloak a sail unfurling! No! I guard my sons!
Tormented men in the grip of unbearable suffering, brought on by your unbearable deeds. A heavy-handed God weighs you down with punishment.
Help me! Aid! Hear me, you Thracians! Soldiers, bring your spears! Horsemen, use your spurs! Oh, come to me, sons of Atreus! Help, I cry! Help! For the God's sake, where are you? Do you hear I need help? These women, Will someone help me? These women have destroyed me! They have weapons! My sons! Murder! Butchery! Help! I need help! Oh, God! The horrors! Where can I stand? Where turn? Wings! God, give me wings! And I fly to the heavens, into the light of Orion, or Sirius! Or in my wretchedness, I must plunge into the frothing black chasms of Hades!
Who can blame this man for wanting to die? For thinking death the cure for so much pain?
Silence!
I came when I heard shouts. Echo ricocheted off the rock, sending uproar through the army. If we didn't know firsthand that Troy's towers had fallen to Greek spears, this commotion would have caused alarms.
I know that voice. Oh, my dear friend Agamemnon. See what I suffer?
Dear God. Oh, wretched man, who has ruined you? Who has gouged out your eyes and blinded you? Where are your sons?
In the tent. Murdered. Both of them.
Whoever did this must have truly hated you.
It was Hecuba! She did all of this, she and her women. They did worse than to destroy me.
You, Hecuba? Is this true? Did you do these horrible things?
What? Is Hecuba here? Where? Show me so I can rip her apart. Tear her flesh to pieces with my very own hands.
Stop, Polymath! Control yourself!
For the God's sake, let go of me! I will shred her limb by limb!
Enough! No more savagery! I will hear your case, and hers, and judge you both fairly.
I'll speak. There was a boy named Polydorus, Hecuba's youngest son. His father, Priam, brought him to me to live when Troy seemed in danger of falling. Yes, I did. I killed Polydorus. I'll admit it. but I'll tell you why, so you'll see that it was well and wisely planned. I reasoned that if the child survived, he would regather and refound Troy. If the Greeks found out that this heir to the Trojan army still lived, they would set out a second expedition, devastate Thrace in the process, and we bear the collateral damage of your battles once again. Hecuba, hearing that her son was dead, lured me here with reports of treasure hidden in Troy's ruins. She said we might be overheard, so she coaxed us into the tent, my boys and me. They sat us on a couch. I was surrounded by many hands, some to the left, some to the right. Everyone seemed friendly. Some women sat beside me, exclaiming over my robe. They held the cloth up to the light, praising the craftsmanship of the weave. Young mothers fussed over my sons, fondling them, bouncing them in their arms, passing them from hand to hand until my boys were out of reach. Then, out of the blue, these placid women, these mothers, pulled daggers from their robes and stabbed my sons to death while other women pinned me down so I couldn't move. I tried to raise my head, but they pulled me down by my hair. I couldn't move my arms because so many of them were pinned against me. And then, oh, agony, with their claws, they scratched out my eyes until the blood ran thick.
The blood ran thick.
And then they ran away. I sprang up after them like a raging animal, bashing and banging my way along the wall, searching for them, hunting them. These are the things I've done in looking out for your interests, Agamemnon, killing your enemy. Let me tell you, if anyone in the past has ever spoken ill of women, or speaks so now, or will speak so in the future, I'll sum it up for him. Neither land nor sea has ever produced a more monstrous creature than woman!
Don't blame us on the basis of your woes!
Agamemnon, never in the affairs of men should the tongue have more power than facts. Rather, when someone acts well, he should speak well. And if the opposite, his words should be rotten. Glib rhetoric may win us over for a while, but in the end, smooth talkers die foully.
Die foully!
So much for my prologue to you, Agamemnon. Now to deal with him. You claim that by killing my son, you saved the Greeks from another quagmire of war. What a lie! Tell me, you scum!
You scum!
What possible help could a barbarian like you be to the Greeks? Whose favor were you currying in your eager zeal? You said the Greeks were going to trample all over your country's crops. Who on earth do you think is going to believe that? I'll tell you the real reason. It was the gold.
It was the gold!
You killed my son so you could get your hands on his gold. If not, then why is it that while Troy still flourished, while its towers remained intact, while Priam lived and while Hector's spear thrived, if you really wanted to help out Agamemnon, how come you didn't kill Polydorus then? Or at least turn him over as a threat? Instead, you waited until you saw the smoke rising.
Smoke rising!
From the city that told you our fortunes had turned for the worse. Only then did you kill the guest you had taken into your home, who sat helpless at your hearth. Here's more proof of your evil, if you really had the interests of the Greeks at heart, as you claim. Why not hand over the gold then? The gold you say isn't yours, but Agamemnon's. They were in desperate need then, exhausted from battle, just barely scraping by in a foreign land. But no, even now you're hoarding that treasure. The gold you say isn't yours, but Agamemnon's. It's locked up and well guarded in your house, as you told me yourself. And another thing, if you had taken care of my son, as you ought to have, and kept him safe, you'd earn respect and honor and worthy fame.
Hard times prove the honest friendship of good men, while prosperity always has friends.
If at some point you were in need and Polydorus was doing well, my son would have been a great treasury for you. As it is, you have no friend in Agamemnon there. Your gold is gone, as are your children, and you must carry on as you are. Agamemnon, if you side with Polymestor, you endorse evil. This man has betrayed all trust. He has broken the laws of God and man. He is faithless, irreverent, and thoroughly corrupt. If you acquit him, what then do your actions say about you?
Just causes make fertile soil for strong arguments.
It pains me to sit in judgment of others' troubles, but I must. What kind of a leader would I be if I pushed this case aside, having agreed to take it up? So, here is my verdict! Polymestor, you are guilty of murder! Clearly, it was not for my sake or that of the Greeks that you murdered Polydorus while he was a guest in your home, but for the sake of getting his gold. Your rhetoric exudes the oily panic of a guilty man uncovered. You've misconstrued facts to put yourself in a more favorable light. Perhaps you think that killing a guest, in this case, a child who was placed in your care, is a small matter in the larger scheme of things. But we, Greeks, think of it as heinous murder. How could I rule you innocent and maintain a shred of credibility? I cannot. You committed a brutal crime, and you have received a justly brutal punishment! How can it be? I am defeated by a woman, condemned and punished by my inferior!
But isn't that justice, since you committed crimes?
Oh, my children! Oh, my eyes!
You're suffering? What of it? I too lost a child.
Do you enjoy abusing me, you monster?
Shouldn't I be enjoying my revenge on you?
But you won't be soon. When the sea spray
Takes me on a one-way trip to Greece.
swallows you up as you fall from the masthead.
And who has the honors of pushing me into the salty brink?
You yourself will climb the ship's mast.
Will I grow wings on my back or what?
You'll be transformed into a dog, a bitch with fiery eyes.
And how do you know of this metamorphosis of mine?
I prophesy. I see.
So, will I live or will I die?
You'll die. And when you do, your tomb will be called
What? Hecuba's doghouse.
Cynosema, the sign of the wretched bitch. A bitch's grave for a landmark and warning for sailors.
It makes no difference to me. I've had my revenge.
Your child, Cassandra, will also die.
That prophecy I spit back in your face. Keep it for yourself.
This man's wife will kill her.
May Clytemnestra never be so insane.
She'll kill him too, lifting her bloody axe again.
Are you out of your mind or just asking for trouble?
Kill me if you like, but a bloody back still awaits you when I go.
Get this man out of my sight!
Did I hit too close to home?
And gag him too!
Go ahead. Gag me. I've already spoken.
Remove this man immediately! Put him on a desert island where no one has to listen to his insolence! Hecuba, you go and bury your 2 dead children. The rest of you, to the tents of your masters! It's time to cast off! See how the ship's sails flap and billow. The wind is finally blowing! May we pray for safe passage and fair weather on our journey. May this be the end of our ordeal. May we find all things well at home, in all our homes.
To the harbor now.
To the tents! It is time to embark.
It is time to board our new lives as slaves. But the taste is bitter.
Necessity is hard.
Thank you.